You want to live a life of fulfillment. You want to fulfill your order. You want to fulfill your divine order. You want to do the thing that God has called you to be and has called you to do. You know, there's something that is deep within you that is burning to express itself. And you know that the path that you're currently walking down is not the path you should be going on. So you're desiring to come back to truth, to desire to come back to self. And the first place to start is your passion, because your passion leads to your purpose. So in order to understand how your passion leads to your purpose, the first thing we must learn and know is that we are multi-dimensional, I think that's how you spell it, beings. We are multi-dimensional beings. We live in the 3Ds, 3 dimensions, okay? Understand that we are our past, our present, and our future. We are our past, our present, and our future all at the same time. We are multi-dimensional beings. We experience this all at the same time through our mind's eye. Our mind's eye, our third eye, connects all dimensions. Okay? So understand that we are multi-dimensional beings. And your purpose is to meet with God. This is your purpose. Your purpose is to meet with God. Who is God? God is within you. It says in the Bible that we were created in the image of God. God is within everyone. The kingdom of heaven is within. God is the highest possible version, best outcome of yourself, which is your future self, which is the best, highest version, outcome. If God came to you and said, I'll grant you anything, what would you want? What do you desire? I would say, I want to be you. I want to be the best possible outcome that I can possibly be for myself. That I want to be a God. I want to be the God within. I want to be able to destroy and create worlds. I want to be able to be knowing, all knowing. I want to have that wisdom. I want to have that knowledge. And so I would want to be the best possible outcome for myself. Your purpose is to meet with the highest possible version of yourself. That is your purpose. So you say, okay, well, how do I become that? What is that pathway of getting to that? Well, you take the pathway of passion, love, because that is what God has made you with, made you in love, out of love, and with love. So you start following the things of love, things that resonate with you, following your heart. Okay? So some of us, I realize, don't understand this part here, which is, well, what is the highest and best possible version of myself? In order for you to meet that, to meet with God, the God within you, the person that is operating on the highest possible frequency of love, in order to meet that person, you have to have vision. What does she look like? This person that I was seeing in my mind as I, pray and meditate, I would see this person, Trini, who wears a crown. I would see this version of myself. And I would see what she's doing. And I would see her. I would see Trinity. I saw this version of myself before I showed up as her. I saw her in my mind, in my mind's eye. Vision. I saw her. So in order to get that vision, okay, some of us struggle, like, I can't see a higher and best version of myself. Some of us are struggling with thoughts of, I see me falling, I see me failing, I see myself not doing well, I see myself being made fun of. Some of us we put our focus on outcomes that is not ideal. It's not our highest and best self. And we don't know how to vision a higher and best version of ourselves. We don't know how to envision us walking in that godliness, that God body. We don't see it. In order for you to get a vision of your highest and best self, you must gain some knowledge of the truth of who God is. That is why we don't have this vision in our minds. We don't know which direction to take. It's because we don't know who the true God is. To understand and get a vision of your highest and best self that is operating on that God vibration and frequency, get some knowledge from the Quran. You can read scriptural texts like the Quran. You can read scriptural texts from the Bible. You can read scriptural texts from around the world to get the mind of God. Because when you study the mind of God, when you start studying things of God, you start gaining a vision of the God within you. And then that becomes your highest and best possible version of yourself. So to get a vision, of your best and possible outcome and version for yourself, remembering I'm repeating it so you can get it. Start reading things and obtaining knowledge of what God is and who God is. This is why I ended up joining the Nation of Islam. Because it taught me the true God, which is, God is not some spooky entity outside of myself that is like just flying back and forth through the universe, just saying whenever somebody prays, they come and come and listen, and they're like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and do that thing. Okay, let me go do that thing. Oh, nope, I can't do this. No, that is not who God is. God is within me. I am God. So when you get the knowledge of God and the true wisdom and the supreme wisdom of who God is, then you develop the mind of God and you start to see yourself as that. Then this is when you start to write things down. Then you start to write things down. Now you're starting to see a higher version of yourself. You're starting to see, well, what are her virtues? What are her characteristics? That God within you, your higher power's voice starts to get louder. It's already in you, but that voice within you, that's all, because you're your past, your present, your future all at the same time. So your future self, that voice gets louder. What are her characteristics? What kind of clothes does she wear? What kind of income? How much is she making? What are the things what impact is she making? What is she doing for work? What is she doing? What are her skills? She's a public speaker. She's a public speaker. She's going around sharing her story, doing her passion, doing what she loves, impacting the world. She is slaying demons. She is doing her part in the fight. She's a freedom fighter. So you start to, when you get the truth of who God is and you adopt that mind, you then develop the vision of it for yourself. And then you write these things down. Okay? Now you come over to your present self Now you have an understanding of who she is. Now you come over to your present self and you're like, okay, boom. You start to self-analyze. You start to self-analyze in your present self. Hope you guys are taking notes. Self-analyze. Taking notes, guys. Please leave them in the comments because this can help someone else. So you're self-analyzing your present self. Okay. So your present self, like, okay, what can I do right now that is going to get me align with my divinity, my highest, best possible version for myself, so I can manifest it into my reality. So, okay, boom. I joined the Nation of Islam because her virtues are freedom, justice, and equality. That's what she values. Okay, her characteristics, she is eating healthy. She's, operating out of wholeness and love, the impact that she's making. So I joined the Nation of Islam. She's a freedom fighter. That comes from the nation. She's a public speaker. So what am I doing right now? I'm creating YouTube videos. I'm researching. I'm increasing my spirituality, praying. I'm doing things right now in this present moment, reading, researching, doing all these things right now in this present moment that aligns with a highest and best version of myself. I'm aligning myself with this version of myself every day. And every day I do things that align with this highest and best version of myself, which goes into my purpose. Now I gain a sense of my purpose. So every day I start walking with a purpose, with intention. I'm doing things purposefully. I'm fulfilling my purpose now because I know who she is. I've adopted the mind of God. I went and got knowledge of the truth of God and the world around me. So now I have a proper image of the highest and best version of myself. Now I can analyze, do self-analysis today and align my daily actions to align with the best possible version of myself so I can manifest her into this reality, which is how I'm able to show up in this way today. So a lot of us, so this is how your passion leads you on your purpose. So this is the path we should be on. This is the pathway of love. This is how you get to your higher power. This is how you connect with your higher power. The problem is a lot of us want to connect with our higher power, but we are stuck. And the reason why we're stuck is because we got some things going on in our past that we need to heal. So we can't move forward because we are stuck in the past. And the reason why we're stuck in the past is because at some point we were discouraged. We were bullied, made fun of. We were told to get realistic. And our emotional selves were put down, and our emotional selves, our hearts, was broken. And just being a Black woman in America, being forced into a position of second-class citizenship and servitude and not having positive reinforcement, seeing our people murdered in the streets, seeing over-sexualized and violent crime men and women, seeing the atrocities being played over and over again, not being the standard of beauty in your own community, not having these things causes emotional baggage and trauma. This is trauma. This young version of yourself has been hurt, and this hurt has put up a wall. This young version of yourself that was told to get realistic when she had these ideas, because when we're young, we're naturally connected to our future because of the innocence. But at some point, we were told to get realistic, or we were put down, we were discouraged, we didn't have positive reinforcement. and we develop this trauma based on our upbringing. Something has happened that has caused us to have trauma, and we got hurt. And this hurt has closed off our hearts, and we put up this wall to the point, because we're supposed to be seeing this way. We're supposed to be seeing, but we can't see. Our vision is blocked. We can't see into the future anymore and dream big because our vision is blocked, because we have this wall that is put up based on the pain that we experienced. It's called emotional baggage. We can't ascend higher because we have all this anxiety, which is fear. We have fear, anxiety. We've got pain. So we can't see. We can't move forward. Something's holding us back. It's that little girl within you. So what you're going to have to do is you'll have to heal. So the way you heal is it's going to take your present self. It's going to take who you are right now. Okay? In order to heal, it's going to take who you are right now. And so what you got to do right now is this present version of yourself, you're going to have to get some knowledge. Okay? You're going to have to get some knowledge. When I came out of the mental health hospital, my doctor told me, because I was having panic attacks twice a day, and my doctor gave me a small pill, and she told me to break it up into 4 parts. And she said, when you have an anxiety attack, take 1 part, so a quarter at a time. I was having 2 panic attacks a day, so I was taking 2 quarters. I was taking a half a pill. She told me, I understand you're having these panic attacks and these anxiety attacks. She's like, but if you get to the point where you're getting up to a whole pill a day, you might not wake up. So I realized if I don't take my own self out, the medications I was on was going to take me out. And so I had to, in my present moment at the time, I had to go acquire some knowledge. So when I got out the mental health hospital, I was diagnosed with PTSD. So the first thing I did is I went and Googled it, books on PTSD, and The Body Keeps the Score popped up. So that was the first book I read about trauma. And as I got some knowledge on trauma, what it is, how it's stored in the body, and I started to get knowledge of psychology and how it's affected in our minds, and I started to understand our thoughts and how it's processed, anxiety and fear. I started to learn about it. I was like, oh, I then gained wisdom. I became wise. Then what you do is you take that wisdom and you go back to your younger self and you give that wisdom to your younger self. Because now you know what you know now. You tell your younger self, I'll never take on somebody's poison ever again. Because hurt people hurt others. And you were discouraged at one point. You were put down and you were bullied. And those people were hurt because of what they were experiencing in their home. And so what they did is they ended up projecting that pain onto you. And because you did not know that, you ended up taking on their opinions of you, and you have put up walls and you're walking around hurt. And we can't move forward, Shayna, because you have so much fear and anxiety because of what other people think about you and are going to judge you over because you were hurt at one point. But now that I know what I know now about this, the science behind it, I will never take on someone else's poison again. So now Shayna's anxiety goes down. Now Shayna's anxiety goes down. Her heart gets mended. And the anxiety goes down, the heart gets mended. She's like, oh, okay. Now that anxiety is down, her heart is mended. Now you are whole. Now you can move forward into your future. Because that wisdom, you got some knowledge that gave you wisdom. You went back to your older version of yourself and you gave that wisdom. You taught that wisdom to your younger self. Now your younger self emotions have come down. Now she's made. And then on top of that, you talk to her with love. You talk to her on the language of love, which is compassion. You come with empathy. I understand what you went through was harsh. I understand what you went through was painful. I get it. But now that I know what I know now, I'll never let that happen to you again. I know what that looks like. I know that characteristic in someone else. I can peep that and we're going to pivot when the next time that happens. I got you. And her emotions come down. The anxiety goes down. Now the walls are down. Her heart is mended. Now she can see. And now you guys can go forward with your mission and your purpose and fulfilling your order and being the highest and best version of yourself. And when you do this, this is called healing. Because that knowledge you gave, that wisdom you gave to your younger version of yourself, it created peace. This is peace. That anxiety. See, that knowledge creates wisdom within you. That wisdom you bring to your younger version of yourself. When that younger version of yourself gets that wisdom and you give it to her through the language of love, when you talk in that love language with kindness and compassion and empathy to your younger self, in that language, you give them that wisdom with that language, she then develops peace in her heart, which is healing. Now you are whole to move forward and ascend and get on your mission and your purpose. So that is how your passion puts you on your purpose. And so now, you're no longer afraid of judgment. You're no longer of perfectionism. You're just going to show up as yourself, who you are, as your best version of yourself. You're not going to nitpick every little thing, and you're going to go ahead and make those YouTube videos, and you're going to post consistently, and you're going to do these things because you no longer have that emotional baggage that you were carrying from the pains of your past. And this is the science behind aligning with your divinity. And that is what divine alignment is. It teaches you the science behind how do you become the best possible outcome and version of yourself. So till next time, you guys, peace and blessings. And remember, God is beautiful.